And good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome. This is episode 77. This is LoreForged, the podcast for Ashes of Creation. We are your hosts. My name's Jibs. And first up, he's back. He has suffered the plague. He's had the rash. And now he's returned. Mr. Sonny Ravencourt's back. Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, Craig. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for having me on. Love what you've done with the place. It just, really sparkles. I am back. I can't tell you how good it feels to be back. I've missed this terribly. I did a couple streams over the last couple days, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's nice. But I'll tell you, a lot happened. A lot happened while I was gone. I think that the people listening got to hear the old JB and Cash show. So that was something. You guys lived the lore seeker days.
A little bit
terrifying.
A little bit.
It was terrifying.
I don't believe it was terrifying for a second, Cash.
We had to come up with a third more content. Which was really easy, actually. It was very easy. but you were missed.
I heard.
Very much.
Like how it leads with it was actually really easy, but hey, you were missed.
You know what? Like I heard the first time, like I wasn't here. I don't even know how many shows I missed. I might have missed 3. But the first show was like, oh, Sonny's gone and, we miss him terribly and he's so important. And by the last show, you're like, yeah, Sonny's still like near death. Don't know. Not here. Let's move on.
No, well, in the very last show, last week's show, we actually confirmed, we didn't have proof of life, but we confirmed that you had not passed away. I don't know if you heard that. We're like, he's still among us, you guys. So, yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where you're like, I think he might have died. Like they're writing him out of the script slowly.
Oh, that's hilarious. And you heard him. Cash is here.
Cash is here. I'm here. Yeah, super busy few weeks. Lots of changes, lots of things going on, and I know we're going to get into it. So I won't monologue for the entire hour. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're gonna have to dial it back by about 33% tonight.
Yeah, you know what though? I do want to tell just a short little story. Frank's back, and I'm getting all kinds of comments and DMs like, "Dude, your mustache is glorious." But yeah, Frank's back.
It's a giant mud flap on your lip.
Oh yeah, that's not how I would explain it. And this is a family show.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what they call
Sonny's
it.
Back, and he brought the flags.
And he brought the flags. Oh, man.
I grew a mustache, and Kelly was okay with the mustache. You know what she hated? Was this part. Like the Frank part that makes it like not Tom Selleck. She was okay with Tom Selleck. She was not okay with the handlebars. Did not like the handlebars.
Like an appearance?
She's an 80s girl.
Yeah, so
Love
like
it.
the Tom Selleck mustache.
You should do it. I just sneezed real hard one day and this thing showed up.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is yours looks fantastic. Mine looks like sad. Like I remember my 80-year-old grandfather grew a mustache for a while and it was like 11 whiskers. And I'm like, that's not a good look.
all patchy and grows faster on one side.
Oh, gosh. That's hilarious.
I got a lot of gray. It's rough.
Fighting the good fight. I think we're all kind of fighting that good fight, to be honest with you. You ever look in the mirror and you're like, oh no. Like the moment that freaked me out was when I started seeing gray hair coming in my soul patch. That's the part that like, I'm like, oh man. That's what
mine's very prominent right here. Like two white streaks in my beard. So I have a beard and then the white streaks come here like some sort of like inverted Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mine's full salt and pepper, and it's going to go completely gray, probably over the politics of Ashes of Creation, and then I'm going to have an inflamed prostate at some point because of it.
You know what the biggest problem was when I was when I worked as an ME, when I was a death investigator, I would be in the morgue and I would have to take I'd have to take these bodies out and like photograph them and stuff like that. And there was cameras, and there was a screen that had the security cameras on there, and one of them was looking down on me, and it's looking down right on the back of my head, and in like a bald spot, and I'm like, that is a weird glare on that camera. And I'm like moving my head around. I'm like, oh no. Oh, so then, like, I'm taking out my own camera and I'm like videoing the top of my head. I'm like, what is happening? Disaster. Very, very upset by this.
How long you plan to fight that fight, Sonny? What's
as long as I can, but I'll tell you what,
timetable?
Headphones help a ton because of this.
Yeah.
This right here. So like this, not so good.
Right.
This makes it look actually pretty good. So if I could just walk around with big headphones on all day long, I think I'm going to be fine. So long as nobody approaches me from the rear, then I'll be good.
Dude, I started the boat docks for me started in my mid 20s. And by the time I was 30, I was bicking it. So I can actually say that in almost 20 years, I have not actually seen my hair.
Wow.
Because I shave my head
30?
No. I was age 30. Yeah. And I'm 49 now. So yeah, almost 20 years. I have not seen my actual hair because I bick it every day. It's a pain in the ass, but
yeah, I was going to say that seems like a lot.
It's a lot to shave every day. Absolutely. Anyway, folks, well, welcome in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for pushing play, hanging out with us today. We're so glad to be back on the airwaves. And this week on the show, we're doing a KOTOR and Live at Happy Hour returns. So, Sonny, go ahead and kick it off. Take us there.
All right. So this is KOTOR. This is check out this thing on Reddit. I gotta be honest with you, like a lot of the stuff on Reddit was stuff that we've been talking about. It kind of Reddit very much mirrored what we as a content creation community have been discussing. And so this one really was quite interesting because it was a dead ringer for a conversation that we just had last night. And last night was the State of the Owl. It is an exclusive show for our patrons on the Patreon. We do a show once a month specifically for that, and it's sort of behind the scenes. Cash said something that kind of blew my mind, and I saw it right away on Reddit. And it wasn't from Cash. This was from 3 days ago. This person, whose name is Cyrez TV, said, Phase 3, any word on fresh servers or a wipe yet? And this is basically it. It's like, hey, we all know that Steven said that he didn't want to do a wipe if possible. And that has sort of been the running theme. But do you think we are going to see, one, new servers, and two, a complete wipe of the existing servers? Cash, I'm going to let you go first on this because you were the one that actually dropped that you were interested in this idea. So why don't you go ahead and let us know what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, we were talking last night on our Patreon episode about I don't remember what the specific question was, but it was something like what are you looking forward to for the coming months? And my biggest thing, and Jibs had a great answer, but when it got to me, I was like, I'm not talking about features. Like I want phase 3 here. And I think the reason being is because phase 2 has been very, very rocky, for numerous reasons. But I think the biggest one is, the toxicity. I think the toxicity has been pretty gnarly, and I know we're going to get into it a little bit here when we go over some of our questions during the happy hour portion. But I very much believe that people's true colors are showing. The way that people want to play this game is showing. People are still really pretty sweaty about it, even though there's been some fall off of player population. But there's still tons of people playing the game, and there's still tons of people that are very that get super salty about stuff and are, you know, treating it like a launch title. And I think for those reasons, it's been very rocky. Like the roads on Vira are not safe. There's a lot of infighting between the guilds, and I am very much looking forward to either A, going to another server, B, having just a complete wipe, fresh start, or both, which I guess it would be both if we're going to another server. So,
not necessarily. I mean, yes, you'd start from zero on another server if it was a fresh start server. Right. JB, let me ask you this: if you knew they were gonna do a fresh servers, but also do a complete wipe of existing servers, would you stay on the same server?
Oh, heck no. Are you serious?
That's too low a hanging fruit there.
Vira is like a dumpster fire and has been since phase 2. No. Get us out of Vira. Oh my gosh. Oh, I could go on and on about that one, but no.
So even though they're gonna wipe the whole thing, what if you found out that like, oh, I think this new fresh start server is going to be the PvP server. But like, what if that rumor starts, right?
Well, they're all PvP servers.
That's true.
I'd still go to Lilith.
Yeah.
Like at this point.
Oh, that's an interesting one. You would go to an existing server, just not this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Vira has been nothing but a toxic dumpster fire since its onset, since phase 2. It's hurting the testing, and yeah, I would definitely scoop all our wonderful folks up, put them on the airplane. We're going on a ride, everybody, and we're going somewhere else.
Shove them through the portal.
Cash, let me ask you this: what if they don't wipe it?
Well, I mean, I'm still going to play, and I think we should clarify when we're talking about Vira, we're not talking about, there are issues in game that are making things difficult. And let me see here. Raz in chat mentioned 2 of them. One of them is the Immortal Caravan, the way they put it, which is freaking hilarious. And the static high rarity nodes, which I absolutely believe it. So that's like 2 examples of things in the game that I'm sure are going to get fixed as we move down the line a little bit to make gameplay easier. But I do want to specify, when we say that Vira is toxic, we're 100% talking about the people.
Yep.
The people are gnarly. So if they're not going to wipe it, like, okay, like I'm still going to log in and play and test and do things with our guild. And I think for us, that is, it's a very positive thing for us. And we talked a little bit about it last night too, when we were rapping about this, is that we're very lucky. We don't have like a fly by night guild where, you know, we just like, yeah, everybody come on in, and like, we don't care. We don't get to know you or any of that stuff. Like, we really enjoy our folks, and we get to know our folks, and we're in there playing with our folks, and we have a connection to these people. So like at this point, and we've talked about it before, like the game is definitely important to us, but community is also very important. And that is a draw. It's something that keeps it, personally, like it keeps me logging in. If I see a bunch of people in there doing something and I have the time, I want to get in there and play. And it doesn't matter what we're doing in the game. The game is the vehicle. The people are the driver. And you know, we've just been experiencing
the drivers are all
people,
drunk.
A lot of people are really drunk. Vira.
Okay, real quick, and I'm not going to make you married to this statement in the future, although some people might like want receipts on this thing. I think the toughest situation would be if you had this: no wipe on existing servers, but new fresh start servers. What do you do then with the guild? What happens then?
No wipe on existing servers.
Virus stays active.
Yeah.
Toxic.
Lyneth stays active.
Yeah.
No wipes.
Yeah.
But they spin up 2 more servers. Fresh start.
You have a lot of great questions. Jibs?
Ooh. Well, you know, I do like taking risks. I will say that. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I was never a fan of taking the Vira risk for phase 2, but here we are. Okay, now I've said that real quick. But I will say definitely I just go Lyneth. I would just go Lyneth.
Pack your bags.
Pack
start
my
over.
bags. Yeah.
It's tough,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's one that you get a consensus on from your guildies.
Oh, well,
Because
yeah.
there's
If,
a lot
if he's
of
asking me
time.
personally, though, like what I would do, I mean,
Oh, personally, yeah.
I mean, if of course this we're gonna
I think
have to have
this
meetings.
is a tough
but,
question.
Yeah,
This is a real tough question.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking community now, that's a whole different animal. Yeah, we're having meetings. We're going through A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know, like. So yeah,
Fresh, as Esteban said, fresh start, old server.
Yeah, that's one where like you call a guild meeting and you pop in and you're like, "Hey guys, what you doing?"
How do you feel about level 2?
Yeah. How do you feel about freaking starting all over again? But you know, I think you would probably have a lot of takers because to me, although the leveling process is tedious, and I would definitely do it different this time. I would not Jamie Chaos it this time, like he did on the first one. I was just like blown away at how fast he leveled with his folks, and he was smart because he took it slower this time. I would definitely take it slower because
yeah.
my wife was really pissed.
You didn't.
She was
You're
really
like
pissed.
it's like that Indiana. He chose poorly.
That's when he
Yes.
he messed up.
I chose poorly, and I think come launch, I'll probably hit it pretty hard come launch. Although hopefully there's hopefully questing kind of levels out the leveling process a little bit. It eases the leveling process a little bit. I'm going to go hard at launch. Like I have no doubt in my mind, but I also have a few years to butter Molly up on that one. Okay, just so you know that in 20, what year is it?
In 7 years.
2028.
28.
In 2028,
Yeah.
I am going to be going hard for probably a good month.
A month?
No,
Oh my
Mike.
God.
Cash, you can't.
know. No, you can't.
Do you want to get cut just stabbed?
Yes.
Where do you want it? Because it's
what I
happening.
don't want to do is get life advice from you guys. How's that?
Well, I can tell
What
you
are our
that
phone calls every day?
it's gonna involve a very large pair of pliers, and it's gonna come right into the back of your computer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And both of you guys talking me off the ledge because be like, no, it's okay. I can quit whenever I want.
No, you can't.
Can't.
It's like a guy in the corner with a trench coat with just a bunch of login buttons. Which one do you want?
Hey, I got my Rolexes here. I got my Timexes here. What do you got? What are you looking for?
Why does he have to be wearing a trench coat? That got
The
weird.
trench coat is where you put the watches.
That's where you put the stuff.
You put the stuff in the trench coat.
Is that not a
You
thing?
never
trench coat.
seen a con man? Come on.
No, that's
Am I the
not
only guy
how
that
it
races
works.
horses for cryptocurrency around here or what?
Man, say man.
No, it's like, hey Molly.
My fake horse stable right over here. I got my Rolexes over here.
Hey Molly, do you like my trench coat? Okay, we'll stop that.
My
right
trench coat is called a lawyer coat. It's
Oh, you have a trench coat? Really?
I have the long black coat that the lawyers wear, the long wool coat.
Does that come out when
You know?
is that like Serious Sunny? Is that what that is, or is it?
No, I wear it all the time.
Oh.
But also when we go to like things, even with the fire department, I wear the bow tie.
Yeah.
Wear the shirt and the bow tie.
Yeah,
So here we go. Real
It's a
quick.
lifestyle.
Oh my god.
it's a lifestyle.
So Samar in chat, who's one of our guildies, says, I will be re-rolling when Tolnar comes out regardless, but I think we should move the whole guild over to Lyneth when Rogue comes out, just because everyone will be re-rolling then anyways.
Sign me up.
Oh.
I'm just saying, you're saying there's a
Now
chance.
let's think about this for a second.
We're doing
This is pretty interesting.
Uh-huh.
This is not a terrible idea. Now, there are people like I'm thinking of like the Daedric's and the Criscos of the world that, you know, are masters of their profession, like the Nepthans, you know, that have like gone to grandmaster levels and things like that. And those people are not going to be thrilled about this idea. But this is not a terrible idea because this server is going to change. Like all servers are going to change dramatically once Rogue comes out, and you're going to have a lot of people starting over. It's not bad. Summoner's the same story, right? Summoner's the same story.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Vyra is going to be.
You'd have to have a hell of a guild meeting for that one.
You everywhere you walk on Vyra, it's just going to be there's just going to be a like 2-inch deep residue over Vyra's surface of just blood.
Like, what is this?
Blood
what are we walking through here?
Everywhere.
It's like, oh, that might be people.
Is that entrails again?
Soylent Green.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Yeah. Do you want to be? Do you want to be on Vyra when a secret stabbing like attack from behind character gets released on Vyra?
No.
You had me at, do you want to be on Vyra? And the answer to that is no.
Yeah, you had me there. I was already, I agree with Cash. Yep.
Let's put a pin in this one. And we'll think about this. This is an interesting thought.
Oh my gosh.
Rogies or no Rogies? Daddy won out.
For real. You're not even kidding. The thing about Vyra is, man, it's like the way, and honestly, it's in its current state too. Like phase 2 is very, I would say, more complementary to the brutality or the ruthlessness of a survival title. Like some of the gameplay mechanics or the way they're currently set up, like XP.
Like a Rust?
Yeah, like Rust. So we're talking like maybe XP debt. You're also talking about, what was the other thing? Very, very survival to E. Cash, you and I were talking about it. I forget what it was. But you combine that with the ruthlessness, and truthfully, like I see this no different than playing Rust, Sonny. Like this is how it felt. Like this is Rust, or this is Ark Survival Evolved. I played the crap out of that for years and blew people's bases up like crazy. Like
You did?
Oh yeah.
I was just trying to raise my Stegosaurus.
You know,
Bob there.
You built your house.
Not enjoy people. No,
you built your house right on my backyard.
I was a farmer. I was a pacifist farmer.
I peed on your crops.
On my dinosaur crops.
I pooped on it, Sonny.
Yeah, and I forget who I was talking to, but there was actually, I think it was Flaris. I was talking to Flaris, maybe? I was talking to one of our folks. They were talking about playing Rust and the fact that they were they're falling asleep in their chair at their computer with the sound turned up just in case they hear like somebody coming up to their their stronghold. And I'm like, oh no.
That is bad.
Like, I love gaming, but not that much,
dude. There was a lot.
When it's time for night, like there's nothing that will trump the sound of me sucking my thumb. Like I'm sleeping hard. So, man.
But at the same time, do you believe him with that story?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Me too. Right? Like that's what survival games are, and this is as close to a survival game as I've ever seen in an MMO. It's wild.
Yeah,
it's cutthroat.
It is.
It's super cutthroat.
It is.
I actually have. I've contemplated telling the story, and I'm not going to tell the story because I'm not going to bring light to somebody's misgivings at all. But it was very apparent to me over this last weekend how it's very much a human game, and people like to role play a-holes. And maybe they're not role playing. Maybe they just are a-holes.
Keyboard warrior,
Yeah. Which it's fine. Whatever. If that's the way you play the game, then we'll deal with it. But I'm not going to bow down to people acting like that. Here's what I foresee happening, honestly. Here's a what if? What if in some bizarro world, there's a bizarro LoreForged podcast, and they're all playing on.
Do you wear
Linux
a bow tie on this, and I shave my head?
Ooh,
yes.
Is that what happens?
Yes, and I'm much smarter than I am currently in this particular real world.
What does JB do on a Bizarro podcast?
My name is Jeff.
He has an Amish beard.
Why?
Okay.
JB
Anyway,
doesn't host. JB doesn't host the show. He just shows up occasionally.
Wow. You guys squirreled off on me there for a second.
Sorry,
So
I mean, but you introduced the
thought.
concept of Bizarro LoreForged, and I was just like, I like this. What are we doing with this?
Called Forlorged.
So yeah, exactly.
Forlorged.
Exactly. It's Forlorged QH. We have a Forlorged podcast in some bizarro world, and they're all playing on Lyneth, right? And they are debating whether or not to move over to Vyra.
Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Is this a grass is greener situation, right?
It's not.
It could happen. It is completely viable. It's completely viable that we move. There's a wipe. We decide to move over to Lyneth, and everybody on Lyneth goes, let's test out the waters on Vyra. And somebody gets wind of it, and now all of a sudden, all the guilds on Vyra move over to Lyneth. And we're stuck in the same situation with the same people.
I'll do you one better. What if on Lyneth it's just like Rogue brought this up in the chat. He's like, the mechanics of this game, there's no incentive to defend caravans. You have like the stuff in the game is creating this kind of environment. What if Lyneth is Vyra? What if we like, what if even without a wipe, we're like, you know what? We're moving. We're going to start over, everyone. And we get there and it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. So I've played quietly on Lyneth, on a tune before. And it's like you're on a honeymoon and everything is it's sunny, and Cash, it's like stepping on Dantooine. With the flower, like the flowing winds, and the animals are doing their thing, and everyone's alive, and for the majority, maybe a scream for here now. Or there. But I'm just like, what is this world I am in? And where's the screaming and the please don't stabbings?
So is Vyra like Mustafar?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's where all good things go to die.
It's Mos Eisley. There's never been a more wretched hive of villainy. But here's the reality. Here is the reality that I truly believe. In the current state of the game, we have the Riverlands. You shove all of these people in one area. It does not matter what server you go to. You might get a fresh start on another server. You might have fun during the leveling process, all that stuff. The training mobs has gotten much, much better. Mm-hmm. But you're still going to run into the mob mentality and the toxic behavior. It doesn't matter what server you go to. It's a roll of the dice any way that you look at it with the current state of game, with everybody just crushed into the Riverlands. Once everything's more spread out, I think things are going to get much, much better.
Well, I mean, if you're on Vyra, you can just look forward to more toxicity as that's spread out.
I think I'm with Cash on this one. I think space is a huge thing.
Oh, it is.
I think
it really
that
is.
Pressure, that pressure cooker of the Riverlands with everybody there, dude, is oof.
That's like a kettle that's been screaming to get off the oven.
Screaming
since day one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Anyway, well, that was good, Sonny. Well done. Well done.
KOTOR.
That's right. All right. So live at Happy Hour is back. And this is the part where our patrons make our episode for us. You can always become one of our patrons if you're into that sort of thing and get access to all of our stuff early. And we did some, we always forget to talk about these, but they're really cool. They're really fun to listen to. We recorded our phone calls when we first were building out LoreForged, the concept of it, what we wanted it to be. And so those are fun. You can go check those out if you're one of our patrons over at patreon.com/LoreForgedHQ. All right. So the first topic is up from Azray. Says, favorite war story. Sonny, I'm going to you first. Whether PvE or PvP, what has been your go-to moment when you consider your time in Ashes? It could be figuring out a quest, turning the tide and defending, taking a caravan, securing that mayoral spot, hitting Alt F4 midstream. Okay, he didn't say the last
That was
word.
a low blow. That was a low blow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I retract my kick. You go ahead.
All right. Well, it certainly wasn't one of those things. There was a couple moments where it truly was testing for me, and I really, really enjoyed that. Some of the stuff involved the lumber milling and the logging and the things like that. When we started to break down the math on this thing, and we realized that like the sales for just vendoring certain items at certain stages of it were totally out of whack. And they still frankly exist like this. That like vendor prices are, in my opinion, supposed to be vendor prices. You're not supposed to be able to sell something to a vendor for even a decent amount of money. You're supposed to basically like sell it and you're kind of like, well, I hate to vendor this, but I'm going to, right? And then we figured out that at the lumber milling stage in the phase 2 part of it, the price went through the roof and we're like, whoa. And so we started doing some testing on it. And it was those kind of moments when I was truly like on the stream, getting out the remarkable, writing down the stuff, showing like the different levels and the testing and everything like that, that it was really cool to be able to kind of just test that game. So it wasn't like a special battle moment, or it wasn't like I killed this guy, or it wasn't, anything like that. But it was just one of those like really cool moments. And it happened a couple different times when I really felt like, hey, I'm actually testing this game and I'm going to provide feedback like I'm supposed to do, outside of all of the noise that is surrounding me with, the toxicity and the nodes and the mayor stuff and all the rest of that stuff. But just like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And that was cool. I really liked that.
Okay. I like it. Cash?
Can I do 2?
Yes.
Depends. Are they 10 minutes each?
No, they're not 10 minutes each. I will make.
You have to divide. You have to divide.
I will make them quick. Okay, so one of them happened last weekend. The other one happened the weekend before. Last weekend, we decided to get into guild commodities and start running guild commodities to test the guild progression system. So we put it out there, and we were. This is a feel good moment. We put it out there, and we're like, dude, we're probably. And the reason I didn't think we were going to get many people, we were like, we're probably going to get 4 or 5 people that want to run these caravans. Because we did it specifically on Super Bowl Sunday, right before Super Bowl. Because we figured, you know what? The roads would probably be clear. We were doing a long run from the desert up to Halcyon. We're like, this is a long run. So let's try and strategically do this. So
what a social experiment that is, too.
Totally.
Like, right?
Totally. Totally. Like you're seriously like having to plan these things out. So we end up with nearly 20 caravans. Like the guild came out in force. We had like 40 people in chat, and everybody was organized, ready to go. It was an amazing thing. And bless his heart, Epi Bear did the route for us, but the route getting out of the desert is tumultuous as it goes. So there's a short way you can go through the lawless zone, and there's a long way you can go through the lawless zone. And we picked the long way. So
through the lawless zone? With caravans.
This is correct. Picture almost 20 caravans going through the lawless zone. And so we ran through there, and there was a guy from Barcode in there, and he was just like, I have so many targets. I don't even know what to do at this point. So we're going through the lawless zone.
I don't even know what to say.
We're having to serpentine through all of the mobs in the lawless zone, and we're picking all of them up. Just like picking up mobs. We at least had a contingent of people. There were quite a few deaths and run back to caravans and reses and all the things. And that's right out of the desert. And we're like, there's zero chance that we're going to make it all the way to Halcyon. But what I experienced in this amazing magical moment was listening to our guildies without any direction, lifting each other up, backing each other up, stopping what they were doing to help the folks who were stuck, disconnecting, like just we had all kinds of issues. Watching that happen in the defense of our own people and just watching it organically roll out and I was running my own caravan. So I specifically just shut my mouth and just watched what happened. And our guild came together as a family and just did such a great job in supporting each other on the entire run. We had people that were way ahead. So they went way ahead. Their caravans made it successfully. They all turned around and came right back to help everybody else. And I will say, only due to a disconnect that the person could not reconnect to the game and get their caravan, every single caravan made it except for that one caravan. It was an incredible experience. The other one, which I'll cover super quick.
Oh God, there's a second. Okay.
Yeah, we covered that like 30 minutes ago that I was going to have two stories. The second one,
I'll see you tomorrow.
The second one was just
tomorrow. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, now I'm looking at the camera. Do you see what I deal with, my friends? This is what I deal with.
You forgot there was a third guy on this show now.
Jeez. So much easier with just one dude gone.
You don't have like the Abbott and Costello routine here between the two of you where he just sets you up.
It's true.
It's true. Let me tell my story. Okay, here we go. This one was also another magical experience. Very short. We were in a raid group and we were testing out the new pocket dungeons in the desert with a bunch of us. We were just running around doing our thing. Super fun experience. We end up in this cavern and the entire raid is like up on top of this cliff within a cave. One of our guys sees a huntable mob, a petable. So he jumps down there real quick. He gets on the node and he starts taming this pet, this animal. And somebody has no idea that we're all up there. And we're in comms, and somebody comes up with a couple other people and like nudges him off the node, like mine. And he was vocal about it. He's like, this guy just pushed me off the node. And he started doing it again. And the guy pushes him off again, sleeps him or whatever, and then flags up. So he goes, he's flagging up. So immediately, without saying a word, the fight starts down there between them. 40 people pour off the top of this freaking cliff and just smoke these guys into piles of glittering glint. And they just had no idea that there was 40 people from Black Talon right on a ledge right up above them. It was hilarious. So just one of those moments after getting pushed around so much, we were finally in a raid group together and we just smoked these guys and it felt so good. I think we killed their mounts and took all their stuff. It was fantastic.
I love it. JB, tell me a war story.
Well
tell me a moment that a moment that just still lives rent free in your head.
It lives rent free. It's super quick, super short. It's not as much. Well, it's PvE. It was a PvE side of things that actually happened. We went to the Forge for the first time, and I was in this group, and we're like, hey, there's this big boss over here we've never tried to take before. And we actually put this footage up on our Discord. It was actually quite hilarious. Let's see if we can take it. You guys want to take it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. So we have maybe 15, maybe-ish people in the Forge, near the onset of when the Forge came out. And so we proceed to fight said boss. Boss proceeds to start smashing. And then this large rock creature does the unthinkable and goes full Forrest Gump from one side of the hall to the other in an instant, just runs and kills everyone. Everyone dies. The end. So that was Chef's Kiss. That's
the moment, huh?
And that's when we picked up our ashes and we turned around.
Whoops.
Yeah, for
God,
sure.
it truly is like a unique thing to MMOs that these kind of moments exist, right? Like for some reason, this is why we play, MMOs, is that it creates stuff like this, where it's that combination of the human element and the game design that allows this stuff to exist. And I've been vocal on since the beginning of this, like, you just give us the tools and we will make our own fun with this kind of stuff. And all of that stuff is present in this game even today. Now, granted, they could fix a bunch of things, but like this kind of stuff, we're still making those moments, even in the situation with Alpha 2 testing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next up, this is from De La Luna. They ask, in a game that encourages PvP, Cash, going to you first, when is robbery and extortion, quote, gameplay, and when is it just robbery and extortion?
Yeah, so
might as well just tell that story. I mean, you got it in the hopper. It's in the chamber. Just fire that gun.
Fine. I will tell the story, but I'm not mentioning any names because this person does not deserve the shout out. Okay. The other night I was alerted to a couple of people exploiting. So I grouped up with our guildie who was there. There were a couple of lobies that were clearly exploiting. Like, I went to the area, watched what they were doing, confirmed it. They were exploiting. They were like tucked into a rock. The mobs couldn't get to them, and they were just right there killing mobs over and over again where the mobs couldn't reach them. So I sent them both whispers and got no response, and sent them another whisper. You guys realize what you're doing is an exploit. Nothing. So I reported it, and they kept doing it. So I flagged up and I smoked them both. And then I remembered that I was by Oakenbane in the middle of no safe harbor. There's no safe harbor anyway. So I immediately just went, oh, fudge. And I just started hauling butt. And I was like,
in any particular direction, or just like
just away. I was trying to get up into the hills, where I could at least like kite people around if they found me. Because once that red dot of corruption is there, like, you're done. You're going to get engaged. So I felt kind of good because I was in a lobby area, so I didn't think I was going to have a lot of people messing with me. Who do I run into? I happened to run into my nemesis, who hangs out in the lawless zone all the time.
Oh, and so you knew this person?
Oh yeah, I had been killed by this person before. We've had some things go on in the desert before. And I run up this rise and I look at the guild tag and I look at the name and I just went, you have got to be kidding me. So there wasn't much I can do. I was on my mount. I was already rooted. I'm trying to get off my mount and I just get smoked like in record time. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I end up dropping my 281 blue steel bow that I got out of, and that's not it. Like, cause I had killed 2 people. So I lost 4 pieces of gear. One was my focus, one was my offhand, and one was my prized bow. So I proceeded to just leave the area, and then I grouped up with another one of our guildies, and I said, "Hey, somebody needs to come and kill me twice. I got to get rid of this corruption." So Merlin from our guild started coming in. He's like, "I'm in the area. I'll come kill you." So he starts coming to the direction of me, and then I get a whisper, "Hey, do you want this stuff back?" And I was like, "I would love my stuff back because I just killed 2 people who were clearly exploiting and were not answering whispers, and they wouldn't stop." And he's like, "Well, I'm not giving it back for free." So full extortion. And then I get a text, or I get a whisper that says, "Whoa, this bow is insane." And I'm thinking, I know it's insane.
The price just went up.
It's my bow. Yeah, exactly. So we had already settled on a price, and I'm going back and forth. I'm talking to guildies, and again, immediately amazing people. They're like, dude, we'll make you a better bow. Like, let's get you a better bow. Let's start working on that. And I was just like, you guys are freaking amazing.
Yeah, don't negotiate with terrorists, right?
Yeah, so I'm going back and forth with this guy, and I had finally had it. I just said, you know what, dude, just keep it. Like, well done, keep it. I knew what I was getting myself into when I flagged up and killed those guys. So I said, I'm not falling to your freaking extortion. And I said, but you know what? You have terrible ethics. Terrible ethics. Well, you can't prove that you killed two. And I said, no, I'm not even going to worry about doing it. I don't want to deal with you. So full extortion, right? Now, when you fully think about it, it's part of the game. It's available to do in the game. It's not considered extortion or exploiting, or it's not considered
it's not considered exploiting or cheating.
Exploiting. It's not
definitely extortion.
It's definitely extortion. It's not considered exploiting or cheating. It's allowed in the game, and that's just what we're talking about. That is people making content. I was on the freaking sharp end of that stick, but is it extortion and robbery? Yes, it will always be extortion and robbery, but I can't get mad at it because I put myself in that situation when I didn't need to, but I did because I'm lawful good. I do not like exploiters, and I felt that it was justified to stop these people in what they were doing. So I chose to flag up. It was my choice. So did it suck? Yeah. Did I get my bow back? No, I didn't get any of it back. But again, like the guild quickly came to my aid, found stuff on the market, and I went and bought some stuff on the market. My bow's still not as good as it was, but I got a bow. I can still play the game. And I learned it. I learned it on that day. Again. So yeah, is it robbery and extortion? Yeah, it is, but it's part of the game, and it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't have a story that's like near as good as that. And frankly, I don't have a story at all. I'm just going to answer the question flat on it. And the flat answer to the question is that it's extortion when it's extortion, right? Like if it looks like extortion and smells like extortion, it's extortion because this game allows this. All right. So this is also the problem of not having the right incentives in place right now. And I get it. It's testing and they don't have that testing system in place. But if you're running a caravan and you run into people and they're like, hey, there's a feed across this bridge, right? Like if you don't have any incentives to have people defend caravans, which let's face it, right now there isn't, you're not going to get people defending caravans. But if you do, then you can like sort of solve some of these problems. And the problem is right now that there's a lot of incentive to attack everyone and to be toxic and to extort and to do all this other stuff. And there's not a lot of incentive on the other side. And so this kind of stuff exists. And there is no like, when is it extortion? When is not extortion? It's always extortion. If you are extorting a person for their goods that you have taken, that's extortion, right? There is no other way to describe this kind of thing. They killed you, took your stuff, and they're selling it back to you. Like that's just what this is. And so it exists in the game and people are going to do it. The way to stop this, or at least balance it out, is to change the incentives for the players. And that's just all there is to it.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you very much, De Luna. That was an excellent question and a great follow-up from Cash on that one. The final one.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
Yeah, it is. It's a good story. And it goes to show you continue to learn. Like you continue to learn how this game works. And you know, sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me, and I was very calm when I killed them, but not after. I was like, oh,
the funny thing, like behind the scenes on this thing, is that he was late to an important meeting that we had with the guild.
Oh, I totally was.
And this is not the kind of thing that Cash would ever be late to. So you have to understand that I am now knowing all of the plays that were happening right now. I can only imagine the just 11 out of 10 stress level as he's trying to negotiate to get his prized bow back while he knows that he is late for a meeting that like he needs to be at for this whole thing, that he was one of the people that called this meeting. And like all of it happening all at once is just, it's tragic and comedic all at the same time.
It was. And it's, you know, it's only been a few days and I can already laugh at it, but I'm still pissed about my bow.
Well, finally, we've got Jamba here. And Jamba asks, I would love to hear more about the challenges related to in-game politics and being a streamer, letting it all hang out, and how you all are handling leading a guild in that environment. I do not envy what you guys are going through and would love to hear plans on BTTC, Black Talent Trading Company, player retention. Who wants to go first?
Oh,
go ahead, Sonny.
Boy. Yeah. All right. You want me to come clean on this one? Because this was an interesting situation. I'm going to come totally clean on this one. And this is normally something that I reserve only for the State of the Owl for our patrons. But this was I got myself into a serious jam here. I got myself into a serious jam, both like politically in the game with other guilds and then with my two boys here. The Sonny for Mayor thing started, honest to God, in like 5 minutes in a joke when I made a video that just on a whim, this low budget video that I made with this ridiculous character running for mayor. That's like just a complete political hack, right? And then it became a thing like, that's actually pretty funny. You should do more of these things. And so then I did a few more Sonny for Mayor things. And the character of Sonny, much like if I don't expect any of you to actually have seen this, but like I had a podcast called The University of Coruscant, and it involved a sort of washed up actor that got hired as a adjunct professor at the University of Coruscant, kind of based on Matthew McConaughey a little bit. But the character, much like The Simpsons, Homer just kind of got dumber and dumber every season that went on. This is much like Sonny Ravencourt, the professor at the University of Coruscant, much like Sonny for Mayor. The Sonny for Mayor like character just got dumber and dumber. And he'd say a lot of things like, you know, I'm super proud of all of the people that have been like slaving away in mines and doing all this stuff to make sure that my bottom line is like 10% greater this quarter for you, the citizens, right? Like stuff like that, right? Like just the most ridiculous politician type of stuff. And so I was like in town, and it was in New Ayla, and people were running for mayor. And I'm like, well, we're just going to do this in character. And so I am running like the Sonny for Mayor playbook in town, just like yelling it out, right? Like just all the ridiculous political stuff. And it kind of, this is 100% on me, but it kind of got lost in translation a little bit when I ended up joining the Discord for the server and for the town and everything like that. And it did not go well. It went poorly. I know it went poorly. Everyone knows it went poorly. I recognized this early, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is going very, very badly. And I tried to walk it back, and it didn't walk back very well. At the same time, everyone, it turns out in hindsight, everyone in this whole situation was just 100% on edge. Nobody could take a joke. Things were falling apart around them anyways, and they were highly stressed, and they were not the kind of people that would like participate in this kind of like fun at all. So like I had a lot of things working against me at the same time, and that I was kind of working against myself. Either way, it created a kind of terrible situation that caused a lot of stress for a lot of people, us included, everything like that. We had to work through some issues, but at the end of the day, this is 100% caused by this exact question, which is, how do you deal with being a content creator and an in-game guild leader and like all of this other stuff? Like the answer is sometimes not well. So there you go. There's my answer to that question.
Yeah.
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 This one we can really laugh about now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Oh,
I don't even have a follow up. Like that's the cherry on the top, man. Like Cash, I don't know if you have any. I don't have anything for this. I thought that was perfect.
It's funny that he brought up that story. I'm really actually very glad that you told that story because the exact situation is in my answer. It truly is. I think the in-game politics are very difficult to keep up with, period. Even if guild leadership is your whole focus, setting aside trying to create content. It's very, very difficult to keep up with the in-game politics because they change by the day. As another, as another example of that, we had an agreement with a very large guild that we were very excited about. We moved our entire guild down to the desert. We did that on Thursday. I think it was probably Wednesday night. Servers came up on Thursday. By the next Thursday, that very same guild was gone. And we were stranded down in the desert. This is not taking anything away from them because they're good people for the most part. We ended up like down there with a lot of very terrible people. It got to be gnarly. And it's fun. We're still down there. But it just goes to show how fast the politics can change and how fast right now there's a lot of burnout that's going on right now. And guilds are folding right and left. The part that pertains to Sunny's story is that one thing that I've noticed in the guild politics is that people are incredibly cliquey, cliquey, and incredibly protective and not open to outsiders at all. Like they have a plan. They don't want that plan to be toiled with. They will run you out of town super, super quick. So people's true colors really do end up showing and tempers will definitely flare. And that's what causes all this stuff. But that's the human factor in a game where the human factor is a viable thing. It's an important thing about this game. And sometimes you're going to be on the winning end of that. Sometimes you're going to be on the losing end of that. And we've had a losing streak. We really have. So politics, very difficult to keep up with in this game. I think with the PvP component, it can also exacerbate those issues. It can make it's very, very frustrating. I will tell you this. It's incredibly frustrating to watch your players get attacked and have their gameplay affected, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
That's
hard.
Sucks. And I'm not saying that Black Talon will not PvP, because we will. But there are some guilds out there that we cannot compete with. We can't. And we're not alone. It's not like we're the only guild that can't compete with some of these other, larger guilds that are they just have better gear. They play the game more. They look for it. That's their loop. All they want to do is fight. Like, we just can't compete with that. I think when it goes to guild longevity, have we gotten to the second part of the question yet? You want me to answer that part?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. One at a time.
Go ahead.
I want to hear from JB. I want to hear from JB on the first part of this thing. So, like, JB, tell me about the challenges related to like the in-game stuff versus you as a content creator. A person that's out there. Like people know, some people know who we are, and how does that like work? What are the challenges with that kind of thing?
It doesn't. I'm of the opinion that you can't do both at a high level. That's what I think where I kind of rest with that. If you are leading a guild and you're trying to manage all the in-game politics, which both of my colleagues have said, like in the morning it'll be one way and by the evening it'll be the other. Sometimes it's so fluid and it's hard to keep up with that, especially when you are creating and you are because ultimately it does invade the creative space. Like you guys have noticed that there has been a lack of of lore videos recently for about last month since the server lore videos. And a lot of that comes back to the things going on in the game, all the politics that surround all of that. Now that said, we're actually getting ready to do some more of that. But anyway, so it's tough to, in my opinion, it is very tough to do both things at a high level. I'm very much of the belief of the Ron Swanson analogy, and that is whole ass one thing, don't half ass two things. And so, yeah, I think it's very tough. I think it's very tough to do both at a high level. That's what I would say. You may go ahead on the second part?
Yeah, lead us into the second part.
Sure. Do not envy what you guys are going through. Would love to hear your plans on BTTC player retention. Well, just keep logging in. Keep logging in. No, we got there's some things that we are definitely looking at down the pike as far as helping keep people to keep coming back to the game. Obviously, we'll do everything that we possibly can to help facilitate good gaming experiences, but ultimately people have to want to hit play. People will always do what they want to do, and you only can do so much. But there are some things that we are definitely talking about doing. In fact, we were just talking about doing some stuff yesterday. So, yeah, that's what I have on that.
Cash, you want to do this, and then I'll go last on this one?
Yeah, I think our formula is working. I do, and that's not saying that we're perfect. I think we have a lot of areas as guild leaders and as a guild overall that we can improve, and I think we are actively working on those things right now behind the scenes. But I think as overall as a guild, as what our guild kind of stands for and the way that we operate, I think we continue on our path and we continue to do business the way that we are doing business as a culture in our guild, because that does work. It is working. We do our best to be honorable. We take care of each other. We assist others that aren't even in our guild when we can. Seen a lot of people just running by, giving heals, giving reses, helping get mobs off of others. We continue to try and build relationships with other guilds, and I think that is definitely happening, and that is organically happening. And I'm always impressed when I hear stories from our folks, and they are building relationships with other guilds. One of those guilds happens to be a guild that speaks Portuguese, and I've actively watched our own folks looking up things in Portuguese to say to these folks.
That's so crazy.
It's incredible.
I love that.
I love it too. And I think that is the culture that we're building. And people they come to us, they see the way that I just think we're bringing in the right people too. So I love our guild application process. I think it does work.
Absolutely.
These are the types of people that we're bringing in who are organically on their own, because they're good people anyway, are doing these things. And it's just incredible to watch that happen. So I think we will stick on our own path. Something that we're doing is right. We have definitely seen some fall off. There's no doubt. We're not immune to it. We definitely have seen some fall off. But at the same time, we're also watching the guild continue to grow. We bring in new people every single day. There's new applications. So something that we're doing is the right type of formula, and I think we're going to stay along that path, and at the same time continue to work behind the scenes to make things run smoother and give our folks the tools they need to succeed.
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of that. I think that for me, the way that I would put it is that, the question that's posed is like, what are you guys doing for player retention? And the answer is, we're doing the work up front before they join the guild. If you can put the right people that share your mindset in the position, then it starts to police itself. And I know that my views on how to run capital and things like that with a sort of laissez-faire type of situation is not everyone's favorite. But the reality is that if you can create systems that provide incentives, and if you can put good people in something and then have the environment police itself because they've developed that culture of decent people, that's what you want. And that's fortunately, we've had a lot of luck with that. And so when somebody does come in, which this literally recently happened, when somebody does come in and is not fitting the culture, then 19 fire alarms go off, right? It is a 19 alarm fire. And the messages come fast and furious. And what do we do about it? We don't hem and haw about it. Like, we got to get this out of here. Like, this is an active poison to our community. Gone, right? Like, that's what you want. And so, you know, we've been very fortunate, and it's because of the work that we try. We're not always right, but we try to do it up front to make sure that these kind of situations fix themselves. And that's a good thing. Like Cash was talking the other day about events and things like that. That's really underrated, right? Like, when you have people, and we like to do events, but it's cool too when other people inside the guild that are not in leadership events or not in leadership positions say that they want to do an event. It's like, I got this idea for this thing I want to do. Great, let me hear it. Okay, it's this. It's all well thought out. It's planned. It's like, let's do this. They're like, great, let's do it. Those are like moments, man. Those are the things that guilds get together. Like, I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, and there's all sorts of horses in this thing. And then I've got my weird like horse racing thing going on the side. And today I'm like, why am I not doing animal husbandry? Like, why am I not doing this? I know that the system doesn't exist like it's going to eventually, but eventually there's going to be genetics and like breeding horses and all this other stuff. Like, what am I doing? Like, I clearly have an interest in this. And Planendorf is like, I can't wait to see your spreadsheets on animal husbandry. I'm like, I just do lumber milling. It's like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not doing animal husbandry? And so it's stuff like that, where if like I get into it and start doing Sunny Sportsbook again, and we have races and we have fun stuff like that. Like, I don't know about you guys, but Team Canada is going to play Team USA tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
And holy cow, folks.
Yeah, buddy.
If you didn't think that there is going to be like 20 people on each side that want to cave in each other's faces, then I don't think you've been paying attention. When you boo the national anthem of the other team and there is 3 fights in 9 seconds, these guys care. Okay? Yeah. This is the kind of stuff that's a lot of fun. Like, you can do this stuff in game. You just have to be a little bit creative. And events like this, that's fun for us. But it's also fun when other people do it inside of there. They don't have to be an officer to do these events. So that's the kind of stuff that I hope that we can continue to do to maintain that, you know, player retention.
Well said. Agreed. Well, everybody, thank you so much for your submissions for this Live at Happy Hour. We hope you enjoyed your time with us today. Let us know how we're doing. Take a moment after listening to this episode on your podcast app of choice. Leave us a review. I certainly do appreciate it. And let other gamers know if this is the right show for them. You can always email us as well at loreforgedhq@gmail.com. Sonny.
You can go to loreforged.com and find the links to all of our links. We have lots of links, including YouTube. Cash put out, is that on YouTube yet?
Friday.
On Friday, we're getting a brand new Varen chef. And this is a good one because this recipe comes from inside the game. Purely inside the game, made the recipe, cooked it for you. It's going to be great. Check that out on YouTube. Twitch, I've been on Twitch over the last couple days, got back into the saddle, started doing streaming again. Man, that felt good. It was good. I haven't hacked. I got like 9 cough drops just ready here, and I did not have to pull the ripcord and put one in. So I feel pretty good about this. Unfortunately, I'm going to California for a week. So that's out. You won't see me. Either way, that is on twitch.tv/LoreForgedHQ. And then we have Patreon. Patreon is divided into a couple different tiers. We've got our regular tier, and then we have the barback tier. And this show tonight is provided courtesy of the people in the Happy Hour channel of our Discord, which is exclusive to patrons. It is my favorite show. Every time we do it about once a month. Favorite shows by far. So if you're interested in joining the Patreon, we would love to have you support us to help support the show. Cash.
Yeah, so I'm betting that your resistances are up so high that you're not going to get sick when you come to California, but California is going to take your soul. That's my prediction.
But I get to leave when I'm done.
Yeah, you do. Oh my gosh. Friends, you can follow us on X at LoreForged HQ, Instagram at the same address, LoreForged HQ. If you're interested in joining our guild, you can join our Discord community. The Black Talon Trading Company is a casual, too hardcore, PVX guild for adults, parents, and working professionals. And that said, we are actively recruiting both PvE and PvP players with morals. So there.
Looking for good people.
We're looking for good people.
Good people.
I do want to welcome to the community Sarai, Hanudin, Brindleton, Raga, Kraken, Nova Zero, and Virtual. Welcome in. Welcome to the Black Talon Trading Company. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Well, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you so much. And we'll see you right here next week on LoreForged. Take care, everybody.
Peace, love, and honeybees.
Safe travels, adventurers.